Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Tuesday. It's a great day to be an American. I tell you what, we got a lot of things going on. It's definitely good evening, and we have a lot to talk about. Oh my. First of all, we got some individuals from the left who want to implement a mileage tax. We got illegals being put before Americans. We got HR 127 we're going to talk about, and HR 2246. What those are, we'll go ahead and we'll discuss that here in a few. We're going to let some people log on. But if you haven't noticed, yes, I did some more work back here. So more stuff is hanging up. So hopefully eventually I'll get it. My desk is a mess. I got like tools and everything all over it. So let's say it's going good. I don't know where I'm going to put the Iwo Jima picture. Probably over there. You guys won't be able to see it, but I'll give you all a tour once it's all done. Right now, it's a little bit of a mess. It's a hectic. We did just buy a king-size bed frame, and it's sitting there in the box. So we got to – actually been sitting there for a while. To be honest, we got to put that together. So with that being said, I guess first thing we're going to talk about is the car mileage tax, which is something the left is actually trying to implement. And what that really is there's no specific details. It's just what, kind of want to call him something different, but I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong, but who cares? But Button Gig, the guy who tried running for president, wants to implement a mileage tax. It's basically saying that we're going to be taxed for how far we drive our vehicles, not to mention the truckers. I mean, imagine what that's going to do to them. We're going to cover that. That's actually money they're trying to find reasons to tax us, so that way they have more income. Why? We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But how do you guys feel about gas tax? You know what I'm doing. Brian, I'll click that link later. I'm afraid if I click the link to see what that is, it's going to mess whatever program I have. I'll be more than happy to look on it later. But thank you for sharing whatever that is. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'll click on it later and figure out what that is. Teresa, thanks for joining. Brian, thanks for joining. That's pretty much it. So, okay. So first we're going to talk about HR. That bang is my son. My 4-year-old wants to jump up and down. So if you guys hear any banging, he's hyper. I don't know what he ate. He didn't have candy or any sugar, but he is running amok upstairs. All right. So 127. If you guys don't know, and I'm going to pronounce this name completely wrong, but it's I'll show it to you all. We'll share it here. Add to stream. All right. 127 is basically a Firearm Licensing and Registration Act. If y'all have a chance, read it. Link's up there. I'll share the link here right now so you guys can go ahead and read it. Paste when you guys have time. There's a lot to it. It's actually really, really a little frustrating on what it does. It's basically requiring us all to register our vehicles, register our weapons of all sorts. It's limiting what weapons we can have. It's infringing on the Second Amendment rights. It's also implementing what type of caliber rounds we're allowed to have. If you are a collector, if you hear that, that's my son. I'm sorry. Even those who try to collect, even weapons that don't use, from World War I, World War II, Civil War, all the wars in American or even the world history, they collect them all over. It's require them to actually gain a license as well. But the kicker that throws it all for a loop is the licensing that you have to acquire. You know what the fee is? How much they want to charge you? $800. $800. That's right, guys. You're allowed to not only spend all that money buying weapons, rounds, CCW, which is unconstitutional. It should be open carry or not open carry. Constitutional carry, you should be able to do that. You shouldn't have to get a license at all. But okay, we need to go ahead and register for a CCW, whatever. I think we should get rid of it. We should be allowed to carry. Second Amendment should not be infringed. However, $800 to have weapons? Are you kidding me? That's a year. Hey, James, how you doing? Thanks for joining. So it's a little ridiculous. And also, what boggles my mind is how they explain now. Obviously, there's not one individual of the NRA, the Buckeye Firearms, any firearms association that supports the Second Amendment, including each of you out there. I doubt any one of you would pretty much say that, hey, if you are mentally crazy, you shouldn't have a gun, because they shouldn't. We all are on board. If you're crazy, like Biden, you should not have a gun. If you have dementia, if you can go off and just not know who you are or where you are or what the heck is going on, then yeah, you shouldn't have a gun. And I'm on board with that. And I don't think any Republican isn't. It's how they worded it in this bill, specifying if you are depressed, if you have PTSD, anxiety. Here, we'll get the exact words. But regardless, it's not that long. Go ahead and read it. But you're not allowed to have a weapon. You will be denied. Period. So, my question is, and this is not worded, and I would love to hear the Democrat, what's his name, who submitted this bill. There you go, Representative Jackson from Texas. Of all places, Texas. So you're obviously not going to go talk to my psychiatrist if I saw one. Humor me here. Are you going to get my paperwork from a psychiatrist? Because that breaches patient confidentiality. Okay, are you going to send me to an individual to be evaluated? Okay, let's go to that individual. Do you really think that psychiatrist is going to sign off on you? They are going to make sure that you, without a shadow of a doubt, are 150% sane. If there's any doubt at all, then they're not going to approve you. If you were a victim of an assault, they're not going to approve you, because that really kind of had PTSD because of that. If you were a victim of domestic violence and you want to protect yourself, I'm sorry, you have PTSD. You can't protect yourself. Oh, how dare you? No. You're mentally incapable. You realize, see how bad this piece of legislation is? This is HR 127. HR 127, someone the Democratic Representative Jackson from Texas wants to pass. And there's many of other weapons restriction legislations out there. The Democrat is using this as their, pretty much they have free reign for the next 2 years. And it's unset. So we need to fight this. Obviously, our Second Amendment shall not be infringed. It cannot happen. We must fight. We must be able to protect ourselves. Victims should be able to protect themselves. I don't know about you, but I think that one doctor does not want to put his entire career on the risk. He will deny people left and right. Not to mention that this is actually a scam for the government to get more money. $800 for a license fee is kind of their way of actually being able to pay back all the stimulus money they're giving you. It's ridiculous. It's wrong. And it's pathetic. The next bill I want to talk about is HR 2246. This one is extremely disheartening. It's long. It is to amend Title 10 United States Code to prohibit military honors. To prohibit military honors at the funeral, burial of any individual who was convicted of a felony committed on January 6th at the United States Capitol buildings and grounds. You realize once you entered those buildings, it actually is a felony. So you are technically will be convicted of a felon if they do prosecute you. So my question is the left really trying to go after all these military members to say, hey, listen, we don't want you to have, they're pretty much spitting on all veterans. These veterans who went, I'm not going to say whether it was right or wrong. It was wrong to go into the Capitol. You should have left it alone. And the majority of people who, I believe, the majority of people who did break into the Capitol or freely walked in because the doors were let open. Some of them obviously were there to start trouble. The majority of, or some of them also were there. They just got hyped up in the emotion and they went in. Obviously, the majority of the true patriots, they stayed outside. They stopped some of the havoc from actually occurring, which kudos to you if you were a part of that. But to put this bill to say if you are committed of a felony, which means, remember, if you just walked in, you committed a felon from receiving your military honors. So screw your entire career and screw everything that you actually did for this country. We're going to strip you from your military honors, your military burial, if you step foot in that Capitol on January 6th. The left has lost their mind. And we all know that. We all know that. But you got to be kidding me. Sharon, anymore, I feel I'll put that. I think I can put this out here. My mouse wants to work. It's not working. Anymore, I feel our country is lost. I don't know how we can keep the Democrats from destroying this beautiful country and its people. We can. Listen, they are taking blows. They are taking a heck of a lot of cheap shots, Sharon. They are, but we can come back. We can come back. What we can do is we can stand up. We can fight, not physically. I'm not saying let's go ahead and riot like the left has for the last 4 years, but we can stand up to these individuals. We can tell them it's not going to happen anymore. And by doing so, we will let them know. And our state legislators will stand up and say no. For example, Al Catrona and Michael Loychek, they just submitted legislation today, pretty much prohibiting anyone from actually, or the whole coronavirus license or registration card. They want to not have that here in Ohio. That's great. The states still have the power. So our state legislators, our local legislators, they still can take control and ensure our federal government stays in place, or at least slows them down enough to where in 2022, we can elect the correct individuals in office that we can start bringing America back where it was when Trump was president, or where he was taking us. I do feel your frustration, Sharon. It is really frustrating. It's actually really disheartening to see the way things are going right now. Because right now, if you guys haven't noticed, well, you probably have, but illegals are obviously being put before Americans. Illegals are being put before veterans. We're putting them up in the free hotel. We're giving them stimulus check. We're giving them free money. We're giving them a plane ticket. We're giving them more assistance than we are the homeless individuals down the street from our house in Youngstown, the poorest city in our nation. And we're giving more money to illegal immigrants than we are our own people. For crying out loud, we're actually all there's kids down there at the border, the illegal immigrants, even the children, they are now in front of the line for in-person schooling. Not our kids. Our kids are all remote. And their reply is, well, they don't have the technology, the computers to be able to do online schooling. Well, you know what? It's called funding. Get computers there. And I think I remember quite a few individuals requesting money during the Trump administration to make those facilities a little bit more adequate. But then again, everything is Trump's fault. You know, he's the one that built the cages. Or was it Obama? I think it was Obama and Biden. James, sorry, I missed you. If I don't see you guys log on, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this program here going, but thank you guys for coming. This is my way, just talking to you all, so you all get to know me, how I feel in every situation, no matter how big or how small, because I think that'll better educate you to know to vote for me when the election occurs for 2022. Let me see here. All right. I know I have this program running on my personal page, my campaign page, and my YouTube page. So it's a little messed up. So I just want to make sure I actually catch everybody. So I got my campaign page here, personal page there. We're good. Awesome. All right. Next thing. If you guys didn't know, there's 21 Senate Democrats are urging Biden to include reoccurring stimulus checks. Reoccurring. So every month, we're going to get a check. Every month. Job, Burger King, my business is hiring. There's a few other individuals. I think another individual was actually looking for this on Facebook. Forget the individual's name, but regardless, people are looking for individuals to work. The problem is the Democrats made it more money to stay at home than actually work. Are you kidding me? So who the hell is going to want to work for $1,000 a week or 2 weeks or whatever if you're getting paid more to stay at home? I wish I could do that, but I'm not. My mother raised me better. My mother raised me right. I can talk about that. Tina. Well, thank you, Tina. Your son was a Marine. I appreciate it. Honestly, a lot of people say they like to thank the military member for their service. I probably can't say I know how it feels, but I can imagine how it feels to be the other side. The mother, the father, the husband, the wife of the individual who's actually in service, because there's a lot of unknowns. You don't know what's going on. You're not sure. You didn't go through training. You're not confident in what's going on. Who knows? So it is a little bit more nerve-wracking being a family member of a veteran than it is actually being the active duty veteran itself. So kudos on you, Tina. If your son's around here in Ohio, I would love to buy him a drink, soda, beer, water, you name it, from one Marine to another. We all stick together. But yeah, I want to talk about that. John, sorry, from YouTube. Jonathan, you always on YouTube. All right. It did get brought up in one of my talks at a different location before about, Rob, how can you really fight for these individuals who are victims of assaults or whatever? I was a military police officer. Most of you all already know that. I was a military police officer in the Marine Corps for about, I was in the Marines for 11 years. I was a recruiter for the last 2.5. So about 9 years, I was a military police officer. But in my time as a military police officer, I've had billets from watch commander to patrol supervisor, security chief, anti-terrorism force protection officer, you name it, I've done it. I responded from the smallest locked car to a murder, to an assault, to a rape, you name it, I've been there. It's sad things actually do occur still in the military. Obviously, we weed out the negative seeds, but my point is, I've seen the evil. I've seen it. And I want to do everything I can to ensure it doesn't happen again. I had an individual tell me that, I don't want to mention his name because I like him. He's one of my friends. He sent me his video. We'll go back for a second. He sent me a video about 2 cops at a door. Okay. And John, this coincides with what you're talking, what your question was. 2 cops showed up at the door, and there was a man, African-American man, at the door, and he was not allowing the cops to come in. Now, I didn't see the whole video, so I can't say who was right, who was wrong, whatever the case was. But my comment to him was, listen, the cops get a phone call, and it doesn't matter if you're not doing anything right or wrong. The cops are obligated to go in your house and look. Now, if the phone call is, hey, I hear some loud noises, I hear some screaming, some banging, some cussing, whatever the case is, it appears, or the person who is on the phone with 911 says, I think someone's getting there behind me. So the cops show up to the house, they knock on the door, and we'll say John Smith, all right, or John Doe. John Doe is at the door saying, oh, no, nothing's fine. Look, my son's right here. See, is everything fine? Oh, yeah, everything's fine. Okay, the cops walk away. What do you think really happened? You probably have someone else in the back tied up, hog-tied in the closet. Well, the individual who messaged me saying that never happens. Well, I'm here to tell you otherwise. That has happened. It was black and white, like textbook. Stuff they teach you. You still have to go in that house and check, look in the closets, look at everything, because you never know if someone's going to be tied up or duct tape or in the bathroom hiding, keeping their mouth shut because they're afraid if they get caught, the beating is going to be worse. Well, here I am checking. I open up the closet, and there is a female right there. duct tape, black and blue. I tried to bend down and help her. She wanted nothing to do with it. Because her husband hurt her so bad, she wanted nothing to do with any male. Nothing. I was in my uniform. She knew I was a cop. That's why I know I'll fight. To ensure these pieces of crap are off the streets. That these people get arrested. They don't get back on. So I will fight for victims. To ensure they don't have to go back into that household. They don't have to fear that individual getting out of jail. I don't like to talk about it. But I pictured my mom. My father was a piece of crap, beat me, beat my mom. Hold on, typical, you know. My mother is a strong individual. That is why I am the best to ensure we push legislation to protect not just females, but the men of domestic violence as well, or assaults, whatever, however you want to label it, because it does happen to men. I've seen it. I have seen it all. And I want those dirt bags off the street. I want to protect those individuals. So I am the right person for the job. I can and I will push legislation. I will work with a Democrat if it will help me get that passed to save somebody. Because right at that point, it shouldn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Tea Party, whatever. I don't care. If you're in office and you have the power to push legislation or support legislation, and that type of legislation should be nonpartisan and it should be pushed through, and we need to protect individuals from that. And we need to hold those individuals accountable. Because right now, and this coincides with our next things, we have too many individuals in jail for long periods of time for lesser crimes. And we have those who have harsher crimes are in jail for lesser periods of time. Can you explain that? And that is the reason why these individuals get away with everything, because they're not being held accountable. Did that answer your question, John? I think you logged off. But yeah, that was just brought up because a lot of people will say, hey, Rob, I want to know. I mean, that's why I explained to you guys now. Explain it to you all. I'm talking like Biden now. I want to explain it to each and every single one of you so you know when I say I will fight, I will fight. I mean, if you have an individual who's been catered to since day one, you know, dad's been in politics and has been around the money and made the money and they tossing it out to your kids and helping them out. And don't get me wrong, if I had a lot of money, I would help my kids out too. But what I'm saying is I've opened up that fridge door, see nothing but bread and water. I know what it's like to earn your keep. I know what it's like to struggle. So that's why I talk about these personal experiences that I have so you can relate it to when I say I will fight for you for A, B, and C. It's because I've seen A, B, and C. Not on TV. I have seen it in real life right there in front of me. All these other individuals who are running for office, they say, oh, I understand. They don't understand. There was a candidate saying I had to work 2 jobs even as a state representative. And yeah, I'm going to call Hagan out on this one because I think she should say something because it's a little upsetting. I'm a little perturbed about the statement. She claims that, don't get me wrong, she's a great person. I think she's a nice person. I just think she's this one particular thing is a little messed up. She should better explain herself. But she said that she had to work a second job, even as a state legislator, to help pay bills. I'm sorry, a state legislator gets paid about $64,000 a year. Your husband was working as well. And you're telling me you still need a second job to make ends meet? What type of lifestyle were you living? When we have people in Youngstown who are barely struggling, making 30 a year, not even 30, 2019 a year. You got people at 30 years old still living with their mom, not just because they want to, because they can't There's nothing around here. They didn't have the education because we didn't offer them education, which is why we need to offer education to individuals. We need to amp up our education so that way we can ensure the next generation is it capable of actually taking these career-related jobs. If we don't have anyone in the area who's capable of doing certain jobs, those businesses will not come here and they'll go somewhere else. They'll go to Texas, they'll go to California, they'll go to Florida, they'll go to Virginia. And then if the individual actually is smart enough and actually gets the education he needs for that particular job, guess where he's going? He's following the job. We want people to stay right here in Ohio. We don't want them to leave. And that's what's going on in Ohio. We are failing our citizens. We need to bring legitimate businesses here to Ohio, specifically District 13, the Mahoning Valley, Akron, Portage, Trumbull, Mahoney, everyone around here, obviously all of Ohio. But for me, my focus is the Mahoning Valley so that we can better our lives and in turn better the lives of our future kids. I went on a little tantrum right there, but all right. It is March 30th. Tomorrow is March 31st. It is the end of the quarter, the first quarter for our filing FEC. So I encourage each and every single one of you, let's go ahead and let's beat our goal. Let's surpass our goal by tomorrow night. So I encourage each and every single one of you to at least donate $10, $15, even $20. Just by midnight tomorrow. Let your friends, family know, hey, just $10. Help Robert Santos, help us by electing him to Congress. Help him. The money does not go to me. You all know that. The money will help us get our name out because we need to unify. We'll get our name out with ads, news articles, you name it. We'll be able to take care of it. So we get our name out. We can beat Tim Ryan. We can remove him from office. I guarantee you he's going to try running for Senate, but he ain't going to run for Senate. We all know the Democrats want Amy Acton. So he's reaching right now, but he is going to stay in District 13, and we need to remove him from office because I'm tired of a congressman who fails the people. I'm tired of a congressman who wants to ignore everybody. I am tired of a congressman who does not want to do jack except fill his own entire pocket. I am tired of a congressman and woman who cares more about themselves and their family than us. Now, yeah, family is important, but it's your job to take care of all of us. We are your employer. We're your boss. Tim Ryan and a majority of other individuals and a few Republicans as well need to remember that. So there's a website right there, guys. Let everybody know. We got till tomorrow night. Let's surpass it. Let's blow it out of the water. Because you know what? We can beat the establishment. A lot of people say we can't beat the establishment. I say bull. I'm sorry, we can. We, the people, are stronger than any establishment. If each and every single one of you told 5 of your friends, told 5 of their friends, if I only had 3,500 votes in the last election, the primary, it was a little messed up time. Just those 3,500 people donated $10. That's over 30 grand a month that we will have. And no establishment would ever be able to touch us because we, the people, will speak. We, the people, will stand, and we, the people, will push the establishment back, and we will take America back. Period. That's how we do it. That's how we can do it. And I will be right there with you each of the way. The last thing I'll leave you is what I would do as a congressman. I actually was talking to a friend of mine. He was asking, he's like, hey, what are you going to do about all these lobbyists? I'm like, well, lobbyists is easy to take care of. Ask yourself, why do you got to raise money to lobby a bill? If you have a bill that is good for the people, that will benefit this country, why do you have to pay an elected official to push it? You shouldn't. You should not have to. So a lobbyist will come in, pitch an idea, pitch the bill to them, say, we would like this. Oh, by the way, we want your support. Here's 50 grand or whatever. It's like, why? It's a good bill. I don't need your money. I would never take it. There's no need for it. It's a good bill. If it's going to help the people, yes, I would support it. Also, what I would do for each and every single one of you, how I will always be 100% transparent whenever someone is trying to pitch a bill, I will be sure to live stream it. If I cannot live stream it or record it, or stream it, I will record it, and I will let you guys know exactly what happened, and you will be involved and you will see every step of the way. Every step of there's cameras. If you're in a place of business, a company, there are cameras because they want to protect their business. Well, I am going to be your employee. I want Capitol Hill. You're not going to watch me take. Sorry, that's the only thing I won't record. Okay. But transparency is key. All right. Yes. We'll leave you with this last thing. I'll definitely let people know. That's the link right there. Let them know. Get up. We have new. Thank you, John. This is our daily, or excuse me, weekly. Now always fight for what's right. God bless America. And again, my phone number is 330